Welcome to Simmons Says, where I help emerging and struggling writers create intriguing plots and compelling characters to make their stories hard to put down and even harder to forget. In this final part 3, I want to talk about the one thing writers tend to forget when we're tired. We carry more stories than we realize from our life experience. From our life experience, we carry more stories than we realize. There are a million other memories stored within my memory palace, my brain, my heart, my soul. Knowing that an actor that I'd seen on television in the old 1940s movies was the father of a friend of mine in elementary school. I mean, once again, there's another barrier. I stayed in their homes. We did homework together and we went to each other's birthday parties. And that actor stayed in my life until my late 20s, early 30s. And how much I learned from him. Later, I met another actor. This one was a black man who appeared in films with Lena Horne in the 1930s and 40s, and who shared some acting advice with me when I was pursuing that as my potential career. Learning that the kids show host Chuck McCann, who I met when I was 11 years old by going on his show, had more of an influence on my life than I had given him credit for. Some of his humor had rubbed off on me to the point where I continued to use it right into my adult life. I have stories of my grandmother coming up from the South to New York to make a place for herself and for her daughter and her son. I have stories of black and whites and Asians and Spanish friends of mine and historical figures who have done incredible things and filled minutes or hours or years of my life with inspirational moments and phrases and deeds. And in my adult years, I have traveled and met people from many different walks of life, different countries and cultures and lifestyles and life choices and political and religious points of view. And they too have filled the coffers of my mind with questions and answers and wonders and more questions. I am clear, if I lived 1,000 years and kept living the life I live, I would never have all the answers to anything. And that's great, because there will always be something to discover. There will always be some challenge to overcome, some curiosity that would dare me to take that next step forward. Some playfulness to help me deal with the harshness of life, which can be quite intense from time to time, as I know you all have experienced at some point. And I would discover things, and I would face indignities, and I would store up more memories, and have so many more tales to tell. So, let's hear it for those 6 elements: discovery, indignity, curiosity, challenges, playfulness. They all played their part in making this writer who I am. And I have been blessed enough to have read enough and met enough people in the creative world to know that many of those elements have played a part in their lives too. And I suspect very strongly they're active in yours. So, as a writer, how can I possibly look at a page or look at a keyboard or a screen or a pen and paper and perhaps say, I have nothing to write about? As writers, we reflect life. Yes, we can become disenchanted with it, with society, with people, any of that. But even then, we have something to write about. We have something to say. So some say art is political. I hate that phrase. I hate it passionately. Art can be political, absolutely. But not all art is political. Art is art. Stories are stories. You can read into them what you want, or they can show you what they mean. Words can be twisted and misunderstood. So maybe clarity should be a watchword. Certainly truth would be a handy thing to depend on, but we can't. Not from everyone who shares their thoughts, their opinions, the news. But as writers, when we become tired, we should ask why. When we get an answer to that one, ask it again, and again, and one more time. And each time, write down the answer you come up with. And then let yourself decide how you feel about it. And then write that down. Just write. Take care. From Simmons Says.